Dr. Cloud is the name of our electronic health record system. This is where we enter and store all of our clinical records. Your specific tasks in Dr. Cloud depend on your role and your assigned program. You will receive detailed hands-on training that is specific to your program and role within your first few weeks of hire. However, here's a general introduction to Dr. Cloud to get you started. First off, make sure that you always open Dr. Cloud in Google Chrome. This is because Dr. Cloud views and functions best in Google Chrome. Don't use any other internet browser. Opening Dr. Cloud in Firefox will make puppies cry, and opening Dr. Cloud in Internet Explorer will immediately rid the planet of all candy. And if you open Dr. Cloud in Safari, well, you don't want to know. The moral? Only open Dr. Cloud in Google Chrome. During your second week of hire, you will receive an email that contains your username and a temporary password for Dr. Cloud. Refer to that email when accessing Dr. Cloud for the first time. After logging in with your temporary password, you will be immediately prompted to create a new password and to then log in again. This is what your screen will look like when you first enter Dr. Cloud. Depending on your user settings, you might not see all of the links that are displayed here, but this is basically what you'll be looking at. You'll notice that in the upper right-hand corner of the screen is a search menu. This is how you can look up a client's chart in the system. The drop-down menu contains multiple search methods, but the most efficient way to look up a client is by last name or patient ID number. The patient ID number is a number that is automatically generated by Dr. Cloud when a new chart is created in the system. Every client has their own patient ID number, or PID for short. The PID is a great way to search for a client because it filters out clients with the same name and birth date, which does happen every now and then. If you search for a chart by the client's last name, choose the last name from the search drop-down menu, enter the client's last name into the search box, and hit the enter button on your keyboard. If you would rather search by PID, select patient ID number from the drop-down menu and enter the PID into the search box. Either search method will produce a page of results, but only for clients who are active in the system. If you're looking for a closed chart, you will have to select discharged from the drop-down menu. You can enter the client's last name or PID into the text box when discharged is selected, and that method will produce a list of all closed charts that meet that search criteria. Another method for searching for charts in Dr. Cloud is by facility. This is particularly useful if you work in a residential program and want to see a list of all the current clients in the facility. To do this, select Facility from the drop-down menu, and then enter the name of the facility in the search bar. To open a client's chart, just click on the name or picture like a link, and you will be immediately directed to their chart. You'll see that the client's first and last name is displayed in the upper left-hand corner next to their picture. The PID is the number in parentheses next to their name. Next to this is the client's date of birth and their current age in years. Towards the center of the screen, you will see some basic demographic information. If you click on the Contact tab under Demographics, you will see the phone number, address, and emergency contact. Further down the page, you will see the client's insurance information, and below that is a Notes section, where you will occasionally see a note that was entered by admin regarding the client's bill. On the left side of the screen, any upcoming appointments will display under the Appointment Reminders heading. The tabs across the top of the screen include links to more clinical information about the client. Under Documents, you will find a link to the client's releases of information, or ROI. Below ROI is Consent Forms, which is where all previously entered consent forms are stored. You can complete a new consent form with the client by clicking the Add button and then selecting the specific form from the drop-down menu. Looking at the list of existing consent forms, you will notice several icons next to the form names. If you click on the spyglass icon, you can preview the form without opening it entirely. Clicking on the printer icon will take you to the printer view of the form so that you can proceed with printing it. Most of the clinical documentation is entered as service encounters in the client's chart. When you enter a progress note, for example, you enter that form as a new encounter. The Encounter History drop-down menu displays all previously entered encounters in the client's chart. The encounters display in ascending order, so the most recently entered encounters are at the top of the list. Another way to access previous encounters is by clicking on the chart link in the top left corner of the page. This will take you to a search page that allows you to filter the client's encounters by a specific program, provider, or encounter type. After setting your search filters, click the refresh button to display the search results. Hovering over the blue text will give you a preview of the encounter. If you click on the blue text, you will be immediately redirected to the encounter. The fastest way to open Encounter, though, is by locating it in the Encounter History drop-down menu. Just open the Encounter History and click on the specific encounter that you want to open. If the encounter is incomplete, you will be able to edit it by clicking the Edit button. Before we go further into documenting client services, we should make sure that you have an electronic signature on file. To set up your electronic signature, first check to confirm that an electronic signature pad is plugged into your computer. There should be one attached to each of our agency computers. In Dr. Cloud, click on the Settings icon. Then click on Devices located in the first column of links to the left of the blue tab. From the drop-down menu next to Digital Signature Pad, select Topaz and click Save. Click on Manage Signature located in the column to the left side of your screen. In the text box next to Certifications, enter the credentials that you want to see listed after your name. Then pick up the pen connected to your signature pad and draw your signature on the pad. You will see your signature appear on your screen inside the white box next to Signature. If you like your signature, click Save. If you want to try again, click Clear in the bottom right corner of the signature box and re-sign your name. In the text box next to Type Signature ID, enter the password that you want to enter each time you electronically sign a document. You may opt to use the same password that you use to log into Dr. Cloud, but most users prefer something shorter like their initials or 3 to 4 numbers. Whatever you select, re-enter your signature ID in the next text box and then submit. Moving forward, when you want to electronically sign a document, you will simply click this Add Signature link on the form or document that you are completing, and then you'll enter your signature ID and click Submit. Okay, so let's say you're completing a service encounter in a client's chart. If you are documenting a scheduled service, Dr. Cloud will automatically generate an encounter for you to complete when you check the client into their appointment. However, you can also manually enter encounters, meaning that you can add an encounter without accessing your calendar. To manually enter an encounter, click the New Encounter button in the top left corner. The service facility is where you delivered the service, and the category is the name of the service that you delivered. Make sure that the date on this screen matches the date of service delivery. Your name will be automatically selected as the provider. Skip all of the other lines and click the Save button. As soon as you click Save, you will be redirected to an editable form for you to complete. The encounter's content really depends on what kind of encounter or service you're documenting. For example, an individual counseling note looks different from a group counseling note or an assessment. Regardless of what service you're documenting, though, fill in all the blanks and answer all the questions in the document. You can attach a PDF file to the encounter by locating the Upload Document section towards the top of the encounter page. Click Choose File, and then locate the file from your computer that you want to attach to the encounter. To sign the document, click Add Provider Signature, enter your e-signature ID, and click the Verify and Save Form button. The last step to completing an encounter is to scroll back to the top of the page and click the Close Encounter button. By the way, clicking on the name of the client will take you back to their home page. The client's encounter history will display your new encounter as soon as you have created it. Encounter titles in bold font are incomplete and can still be edited. Encounters in regular font have been closed and are locked. Italic font just means that the encounter isn't attached to a bill. To close a client's chart, click on the circled X icon in the top right corner of the white name bar. If you ever run into a problem while using Dr. Cloud, just send a secure email to Dr. Cloud Help. In the body of the email, provide as much info as possible, such as the PID and the encounter number. You can contact Dr. Cloud Help for things like deleting a blank encounter, unlocking a form that was closed prematurely, and to troubleshoot something that doesn't seem to be working properly. The number listed in parentheses next to the name of the encounter is the encounter ID number. This is a number that is automatically generated by Dr. Cloud when the encounter itself is created. This really allows you to then differentiate between encounters if you're needing help with one later on. So this was a really fast overview of Dr. Cloud and definitely not comprehensive. Don't panic. I recommend rewatching this video at least a couple of times. If you are a service provider, I also recommend opening a test chart and exploring some of the basic Dr. Cloud functions. As I said earlier, you will receive more role-specific training in the near future. For staff and residential programs, this includes an introduction to the documentation system for medications. Don't hesitate to reach out to me or to Dr. Cloud Help if you have any questions or run into a problem. With time and commitment, you too can become a Dr. Cloud expert.